What's up, you guys? My name is Ashley. For those who are new here, hello and welcome. And for all of my returning subscribers, hey. So today I am getting some seed starting going for this upcoming gardening season. So I got all my stuff laid out here, and I just want to walk you guys through everything that I'm using, and we are going to actually plant some seeds today. So if that's something that you want to see, let's just go on ahead and get it started. All right, so as I mentioned, I have everything that I need to get my seeds started. Over here is like more functional stuff. I have my planter, and then of course my seed trays, and then the goods. So here is the seed starting mix that I'm using. I'm using the Jiffy seed starting mix. I've used this pretty much every year that I've started seeds. This year I'm doing something a little bit different that I've seen on, oh shoot, what's her channel name? I forget. Garden Answer maybe. I see that she puts vermiculite on top of her seedling trays just to seal in a little bit of moisture. So I wanted to try that out this year because I can be a little forgetful when it comes to actually watering my seeds. So we're doing that. And then I do always put some worm castings in with my starting mix as well. Here I have a 73, I believe it is, seed starting tray. This is what I'm pretty much going to use. I find that it saves a lot of space until I'm able to pop up my greenhouse, just like my little pop-up greenhouse. It's nothing spectacular, but I'm able to start plenty, save a little bit of space, and all of that jazz. So I got these trays off of Amazon. I will make sure that I leave links to this below, as well as these trays to just set these inside of perfectly, as you know, a little water reservoir. And then I always have my planner with me because, as you guys may or may not know, if you've been here before, then you know that I am definitely a planner girl. So I like to keep good record of things. So this is just my planner that I keep all of my information in. I have all of my varieties here and all that good stuff. So keep all of that. Of course, you got to have some seeds. Everybody has jumped on the bandwagon of using this type of system. So I also did the same. And as you can see, I've got some Roots and Refuge stickers all up in that thing. And then this guy, which I want to talk about. All right, so like I said, I am using this system to organize all of my seeds. However, there's obviously a lot of these seeds that I won't even touch this season because homegirl just overbuys seeds. But I broke it down in a way that just makes sense in my mind. So I have broccoli seeds, and I like these little labels. I forget what the label is called, but I mean, you know what it is. It's like that vintage look, and I just think that it looks cool. So I have broccolis, cabbage, greens, salad greens, peas, carrots, beets, and turnips, radishes, so on and so forth. So I have all of my collection in here. However, what I thought about was when it's time for me to plant seeds and like actually begin my seed starting process, I wanted to break things down by when I needed to start them. So I went on ahead, I went back. Matter of fact, I didn't mention where this came from. Like I said, I feel like everybody knows by now, but I picked this guy up. It is a photo storage case from Michael's, but they also sell the individual containers as well, and I believe these are like $2. So even if you don't have a large collection, maybe you have, like, you know, some sort of storage case like this, just know that you can, you know, you can get a decent collection like this. So these are 5 of those little containers, and then on this side here I just have some essentials. So once I make a plan of what plants I want to grow in the season, I will put those seed packets in these guys, and then I'm breaking them down by the weeks that I'm actually starting seeds or directly sowing. So let's get into this. So for this, I have my 12-week seed starting, which is what will actually be starting today. I have 10 weeks, 8 weeks, 4 to 6, and then my direct sowing packets. And then also in this little container, I have some markers, like different types of markers. But then I also seen somebody did something really genius with the actual trays. Actually, not these, but on these guys, was they took some masking tape and just ran it across and then just wrote on the masking tape rather than having like individual things, because sometimes you don't have everything doesn't always germinate. And then also when you have the light that's hovering right over top, it can, you know, it can be just a little messy. So I really like that idea. So I picked up some masking tape just from the Dollar Tree. And I do have other ideas as far as how to do everything on a budget. I feel like most of what I do is budget friendly, but if you really want to go on a budget, I do have a separate video where I gave some really good seed starting, garden, container gardening type ideas on a cheap. So if you want to see more of that, definitely check out that video. I'll make sure I will link it up here. But anyway, so what we're doing today, we are starting our 12-week seeds. So let's just go over what I'm actually starting today, and I will just keep you guys updated as we move forward. I don't want to overwhelm you with all of the varieties that I'm hoping to begin this season or hoping to grow this season. I mean, if you guys want to see that, then we can go over the varieties that I'm growing for the 2021 season. I mean, let me know if you want to see that. Anyways, let's just talk about today. All right, so in here, again, most of these are like brassicas because brassicas take a little bit of time. I was actually going to start onions, but I feel like I'm a little late in the game. So what I did was just order some onion plants. That way I can just pop them down in the soil once the soil is workable. Because yeah, onions is something that I have failed on many occasions. Anywho, so let's talk about what we're starting today. I have some magenta sunset Swiss chard, and as you can see, I picked up these seeds from My Gardener. My Gardener is a really good resource to pick up cheap seeds. They used to only be $1 each. Now they are $2, I want to say. If I'm wrong, I will correct myself on the screen. Anywho, that's where I got these guys. I got some scarlet kale also from My Gardener, and then dinosaur kale from My Gardener. And then I have, this is Brunswick cabbage. These did really, really well for me last summer. Not all cabbages do well in the summertime is what I discovered. And these ones are the ones that I had success with. It was the first full-grown cabbage that I ever grew. I was so proud of myself, and so I want to recreate that. I want to do that again. So doing a couple of these. And then I didn't want to take too much space with cabbage because they are something that requires a lot of time to come to, you know, full maturity. So I wanted to go on ahead and try out some pak choi white stem cabbage as well from My Gardener. I didn't mention these were a free packet from Baker Creek, the Brunswick. Anyways, I wanted to try these out because with these you can so with these you can actually do like a cut and come again type of thing. You can peel off like the mature leaves, like if you're doing a soup or something like that, and they just don't take up as much space. So I'm doing more of these than the Brunswick. I'll probably only grow 3 of those and maybe about 12 of these. So doing that. And then as far as herbs and onions go, I am going to do some Italian large leaf basil, also from In My Gardener. You'll see a trend going on here. Holy basil, these take a really long time to germinate. So definitely want to get some of this grown because I did not have any in my garden last year. However, I had some dried from the previous year, so all was good. And then I just have 2 varieties of bunching onions. These don't take super long to mature. These are like 55-day varieties, so I do still have plenty of time to grow these. But yeah, so I have the red beard bunching and then the Tokyo long white bunching. So this is what we're getting started today. Those are the seeds that I'm working with. I showed you guys the stuffs. Now let's talk about how I prepare my soil. All right, so here I have 1 bag of the Jiffy starting mix. And what I have already done, because I didn't want to wait and do that on camera, but I went on ahead and pre-moistened it with boiling water. Now, it is super important that you do this, and I'm gonna tell you why, because I've done it both ways. I've done it without sanitizing my soil, and then I've done it with sanitizing my soil. Sanitizing your soil is very important because you can get some fungus gnat eggs that will kill your seedlings before they ever even have a chance to flourish, thrive, all of that good stuff. You won't have a crop. It basically is what I'm saying. Like I said, I've done it both ways. I just have a lot more success doing it this way without sanitizing your soil, or like sterilizing it, I guess is the better word. Like I said, you'll end up having some poor germination due to like fungus gnats, eggs, you know, not sprouting, but you know, what am I saying? You know what I'm saying. You'll have something eating your daggone seedlings, and that ain't cute. So that's all I've done so far. I like to keep a spatula to kind of help me like work everything through. But now that that's all good, like I said, I did this the other day. I'm going to take some of my worm castings just to add more nutrients in, because obviously once your seeds actually germinate, they'll need some more energy to feed them. So this is like the first source of energy that they'll get, obviously, other than water and light and all of that good stuff. But I like to give them a good feed as soon as they get going. That way, you know, everything is all good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab a scoop and I'll be back. All right, so let's go ahead and open this up. And this specific brand is the Wiggle Worm Soil Builder. I haven't tried this brand before. In the past, I've used stuff from Walmart, but this specific brand I got from Amazon, and it was fairly inexpensive. So I'm gonna take maybe about 2-3 scoops. Let's do 3 scoops of this and putting it in to our seed starting mix. I'm gonna move this to the side. And this is where my spatula comes in handy, because you wanna mix that in. All right, so now I went on ahead and I prepped my tray. The next thing that I'm going to do to get this ready, and I found this idea from Living Traditions Farm. They're here on YouTube. It's just something really smart that they did that I was like, I am totally adopting that, because one thing that I do get super irritated by is when all of my freaking markers end up getting flipped around and moved around about and whatnot. So I just thought that it was smart. So I'm gonna take this across the front here, and I will just put it down. So just taking a piece, and again, just sticking it on the front here. And that way I don't have to worry about anything getting wet, I can write down my varieties per row, even though a full row may not be, you know, everything. So maybe what I'll do, because I'll split it up in threes, because most things I'll at least start 3 of. So I'll do a piece of tape on each side. That way I can mark on both sides. Okay. So there goes that on each side. Now, let me move you down here. And there's no rhyme or reason on how you get some dirt in your tray. What matters is that you get it in there. All right, so now I went on ahead and just laid out how I want to plant everything. I'm actually going to switch these around just a tad because I want more herbs. So I want to put my herbs on one side and then my brassicas on the other. So let's just go on ahead and get planted. All right, y'all. So with brassicas, the seeds are super duper small. Hopefully you can see a good visual there, but they are teeny tiny. So what I like to do is put at least 3 in each cell, because most of these seeds are at least 2 years old. So I want to give them time to do their thing. So 3 in each cell should be plenty. And all I'm doing is I'm using my finger to create like a little well and dropping the seeds down in there. Now with these brassicas, you could totally just directly sow them. However, I like to go on ahead and pre-start them. That's just my preference. So yeah, right now I'm not going to cover these up. I'm just going to put the seed packet back over top and move on to the next variety. All right, y'all, I am done sowing all of my seeds. So now I didn't cover up anything, but I did go on ahead and label everything before I lifted all of my seeds up. That way I know what's what. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a light layer, because most of all of these seeds, except for the Swiss chard, are really teeny tiny seeds. And I will mention one thing: for the onions and the herbs, you can oversow just a little bit. So with the herbs, I really packed in a lot, and what I'll do later on is I'll just split those in half or something like that. And then the same for the onions. Those seeds are a little bit larger too. I'll go on ahead and show you what they look like. So they're a little bit larger than the cabbage onions or like the brassicas, but at this point what we can do is just cover everything. So like I said, I'm just going to take a light layer, and really I can just go over these ones like that, literally just sprinkling and spreading. And then for my basil seeds, these are really, really fine. So I just want to barely cover these up. I'm just taking whatever's left off the top and just dragging it over. And I don't think that you guys can see that, but that's okay. All right, and something that I didn't mention was how I like to water these. So obviously at the state that they're at now, I don't want to disturb the seeds too much. So I am using this like pressure sprayer. I actually picked this up from the dollar store, so another cheap buy. I want to say I didn't pay any more than $3. It doesn't hold just a whole lot of water. It's a 1 liter carry here, but I like it a lot because I can hit it from all different angles, and it just provides a nice fine mist over top of the seeds. So let me angle you down so you can see just how fine of a mist it is. Like I said, the soil was already nice and moist from where I pre-moistened it, but this is just giving it that extra little bit of moisture. And then now, which is new for me, we are going to put a layer of the vermiculite over top to seal in all of that moisture. So let's see here. And vermiculite is just like, almost like, it looks like kitty litter to me. I've never used it before, but you can just put that right over top. So let me see. Maybe I'll use the scooper here. Or better yet, I'm just gonna use my hands with this. Why not? Fine layer. And again, this is just to help lock in the moisture for those who can be a little forgetful on the watering tip, like me. And I don't know that I was supposed to pre-moisten this or not, but I'm just gonna go back over with a mist of water again, just to make sure. Because like I said, I've never used this before, and I didn't even bother to see if that was something that I needed to do. So we're just gonna do that just in case. All right, you guys, so there we have everything as far as starting the seeds. Now, let me take you to my little area where I actually put these under lights. Let's talk lights. All right, y'all, so as you can hear from the noise, we are down here in my basement, and it is nothing fancy at all what I have as far as my setup is concerned. My husband did build this little contraption for me. It just has a few shelves. The bottom shelves are extremely messy, so I'm not going to show you. But as you can see, I'm just using a shop light, extremely low. That way they're like right on top. You want to have like at least a 2 to 3 inch space there, just like a 2 to 3 inch space between the lights and your seed tray. That way, as soon as they erupt from the soil, they are getting all of that lovely light. And I just have some, these fluorescent bulbs are specific for growing vegetables. You don't have to do that. If you want to, you can, but you know, either way it goes, it's good. I've done this now. This is my 3rd year starting my own seeds, so it's possible. All right, and eventually once I start like peppers and things that enjoy more heat, I do have a heat mat here. This is the, ooh, what is this? The Fairy Morse brand. But I want to say you can buy these at or on Amazon. It's nothing spectacular. Usually they're pretty affordable. I would say in store they cost a lot more, so that's something to keep in mind if you want to save a buck. If you have Amazon Prime, it's definitely worth it. But obviously once I get around to needing to start my peppers and tomatoes and other heat warming or other heat loving plants such as, you know, eggplants and stuff like that, that is when I will begin to use my heat mats. But other than that, this is my setup. It's nothing spectacular. On this shelf, well, on this shelf I can fit 2 of these. So right now I just have it smack dab in the middle, but eventually I can just slide this down and I still have plenty of space here to, you know, do it. So let me give you guys a full view. Like I said, I'm in my basement. It's not a pretty picture, but I'm giving you guys the real. All right, so here is the full view. Like I said, nothing spectacular. I did purchase this LED light and it works great. Like, it works out just fine. In this box I have like my soap, but as you can see, I just have like other plant things, and I like to keep these bottles to like pop in planters. It's like a self-watering situation, but this is it. It's nothing spectacular, nothing fancy at all. Maybe eventually I'll have something a little bit nicer, but as it stands right now, I'm a hobby gardener, so this works perfectly fine for me. I got my brassicas going now, and eventually I'll have all of these shelves filled, so I'll still have like 3 more trays to fill, but this is it. All right, you guys, so that is it for this video. I hope that you all enjoyed watching the process of how I will be starting seeds for the 2021 growing season. If you want to know all of the varieties that I will be starting for my garden this year, definitely let me know down in the comment section below. I'm not going to show you guys every single time that I start seeds. However, I will give you guys updates as everything is, you know, sprouting and doing all the good things. So definitely stay tuned for that. If you want to see the varieties, let me know. And then as for now, I am all done here. So I thank you all so much for stopping by. I wish you all health, wealth, and prosperity. And until the next time, peace out.